Hey everyone, Kane here, and in this video we're gonna talk about condensed power and why are people being a lot weaker in terms of core power, having weaker accounts in some cases, but just to remain a lot lower core than they may be, or at least a lot lower core than their strength ought to be. So the pluses of that is you get to brag when you beat a stronger person, even though in a lot of the cases you may end up being a lot higher core if you would more or less upgrade your account casually. So, for example, one of these is this 10 million core person right here. So I personally thought, yeah, that's fine. Like, this person would seem like a pretty easy picking, like 3 points. I would get over 4,200, but unfortunately, it wasn't so. So, at first glance, again, 10 million, pretty friggin' easy for somebody like me to smash. And unfortunately, he wasn't like that. And from checking the house, I've seen this guy in the cross server chat room, so I'm pretty sure that this particular house is at least a few months older than me, at the very least. And going into the fight, this guy already has tier 19 skill. And look, I almost lost, but the battle timed out. So the first thing that we notice is a level 27 pet. So the thing is, the pet gives about 3 million core power for me, somewhere like that, and his pet gives only 5, or rather 500. So basically, this guy is missing about 2.5-ish million core power. So if you add 2.5, this guy is around 13 million. The other thing is some of the stuff that he's likely not upgrading as well. So, first things first, we check the dragon. His dragon is probably about 200,000 more in terms of power. So, I would assume he has the tier 4s. Yeah, he has two of them, and also the frontline army is a little bit tankier since it's tier 19 and everything is like already better than on my field, even though I'm higher core power. The other thing is, of course, he has level 70 heroes, so he has rogues, mechanists, he has gladiators, he has one moment, he has mages even, and don't think generals are in here. No, so he has 3 level 70 researches already done as well, which is friggin' crazy because I don't even have a single one. So yeah, this guy is probably like a year older than me and has so much stuff that I would probably give him like 13 to 14 million core condensed in literally just so friggin' little that, quite a lot of people may not understand why they would be losing a fight like this. Now, I delved in deeper and I've checked his artifacts and stuff like that. And quite a lot of artifacts that he has on his heroes are 5-star. I think out of majority of the premium artifacts, he didn't have 2 or 3 5-star. He had one 4-star and one 2 or 3 star, and then literally the rest are 5 stars, which is like 8 9 5-star premium artifacts compared to a one of mine. So again, majority of this type of stuff doesn't really appear in terms of the core power. However, it does appear in terms of the strength of the account, and that is pretty much what you kind of see being possible, even if the equipment are not really that good on some of the heroes per se. It's still a lot of strength in terms of the account that he's able to dish out so much damage or keep his army alive, or even the gladiators would be healing or surviving or tanking. So in this case, it had a lot of stuff healing him. In terms of damage, they weren't really even taking damage, or I think, oh yeah, we faced burst versus burst. So let's just jump into the fight and see what happened. So we faced burst versus burst. So he has two skeletons in front: Avril, Valerie, Tissaphen, basically entire burst squad right here near the dragon. So I did my stunts, I did my stuff here. I jumped my Rufio, the dragon already procced, and the only thing I could do was just spin right and left into the dragon. But I think the Avril got the blizzard off. Yeah, it's doing incredible amounts of damage, as well as he had Raxius off there. I think he has burning Raxius instead of Avril, cause literally everything just died there, and that's what happens when you have level friggin' 70 hero and potentially the burning stuff as well. And basically majority of my DPSs are gone, and his are still remaining on the field. I think my dragon is gonna kill the Avril and the Ophidia, but that is pretty much it. He still has the other DPSs, and since I don't really have any ranged units, my formation depends solely on heroes. This fight was gonna be lost if he didn't time out. So yeah, that sort of thing happened. There was almost nothing I could do because like the damage that came out of him was too big, and honestly, I suppose it like this sort of stuff happens, and the only thing that I see from this being very viable is that you can get queued up with a lot weaker people in terms of Minds of Mayhem, and then you will pretend to be very strong, and then be like, yeah, like I got this and I beat this guy like 1-2 million core above me and stuff like that. And like, what for? Honestly, the thing is, not upgrading your account properly in the end means you're not gonna rank in a lot of the events properly. Like, for example, let's say a power prize fight event that just finished today, Rhino Rampage, Kingdom Guardian. Some people still manage to pull those off, some people don't, and that's like one of the bigger side effects, I suppose, because if you don't upgrade your account, your archers are not necessarily gonna be incredibly weaker, but they're going to be weaker. And if they're weaker, the other people who are upgrading and not participating that well in PvP, they're going to take away your rankings, and rankings are equal to Linari gain. And if you don't gain Linari, you slow down in your progress. And slowing down in your progress means you can't even pull the lucky wheel like as much as 120 without spending. You can't pull a golden game board, finders keepers, or you're gonna have to save for a very long time. And a lot of people don't understand that, and some people still do it. I personally, I don't really find it that useful. Now probably there is something I don't know, or something I suppose I didn't figure out, but like the only thing that would benefit somebody is probably their own ego, as well as like probably an easier matchup in Minds of Mayhem, since I do believe there are some brackets in terms of core power ish. Not entirely sure what the numbers in between the brackets are, but I think there are brackets. And like that is pretty much it. Like you do this for one single event and your own ego or stuff like that. And do keep in mind, I'm not flaming or blaming that person for doing it, right? I'm just more or less contemplating on the action itself. Like there is, like this is the only thing that I find pretty friggin' useful. If people don't really look into your formation further, you can look like, yeah, sure, I'm 10 million core and I do this, this, and this. But honestly, like if the guy would just, even as the basic thing, upgrade his pet, he he would go from 10.3 million core to literally like 13 million core, and he would have beaten me in that fight probably rather quite quickly because the pet buffs are friggin' insane. So yeah, that is, I suppose, what condensed power is. Basically, you have materials like even, I suppose, the scraps, the pets, and stuff like that. Even equipment, if you're not using like, a third, let's say, army, or a fourth, you just leave it at 0 or a level 20 or 35, depending where you're stopping for additional stats, and that's pretty much it. Like, you wouldn't go above a certain level. So, for example, I leveled this to 35, waiting to break through to 7 stars for the last improve of the stats in terms of the entire army of the race. And I suppose this should be stopped because anything above that is just fake stats or fake core. So something like this, I would say, yeah, sure. But aside from like these, people are missing out on a lot of useful stats that could be very helpful both in PvP and also in the events. And this game is literally events. Like, you don't have anything else to do except for events and PvP. And sure, like, Minds of Mayhem is a PvP, but that is only one event, and you undermining your own account is like losing additional linari from many other multiple events that you would be able to get just for the sake of one. It's not really a good, I suppose, a very good trade-off. Now, if you're like rank friggin' 300, 200, even if you would spend those materials, likely then, I suppose it could be okay to keep your core lower. I'm not entirely sure on the matter and stuff like that, but from my own perspective, people should try to score rankings in literally every event that they're playing. For example, here I'm not really that good in Rhino event, but I passed this to Challenger 1. Quite a few people either not doing it or not participating properly, and they're not really passing that far. I know quite a few of these people can actually pass it to Challenger 1, like quite a few of these people, but they're friggin' being lazy and they're losing this kind of rewards, and eventually they would end up spending money to purchase all of this Lunari anyway. And that is like something that people shouldn't really condense their power for, because, for example, again, if you condense your power and you can't even clear something like this to Challenger 1, that's quite a lot of Lunari lost. So people should be mindful of that, instead of just going for, let's say, something like this, or just, for the bragging rights of beating a stronger core power player, which in real honesty, that player would be a lot stronger if he didn't condense his power. So I'm not entirely sure why would this even be something that a person would brag about. Anyways, I suppose that is pretty much it for the video. It was just my thoughts. I suppose a fight I had as well, which I pretty much decisively lost because of, I suppose, a condensed power player who would be, I think, a million core power or more above me, with majority of his resources expended like properly. I don't mean wasted, but just spent properly on account. So yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it useful. And if you did, do hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe out there.